Excuse me. I'm getting comfortable. This is Larry Pozabinski again on schizophrenia and living with it, and at this point, the consequences of living with the treatment for it is what this has been about lately. Okay, so I watch my own videos, and I thank everyone for the views, the number of views, and the interest in this dangerousness of antipsychotic drugs. Part of my story that I'm into at this point in my life, at my age of my life. So, but I watch my own videos too, and I thank you for the views, all of you. But I watch and I say, well, I started to say something and I veered off and I didn't say it. So I made notes tonight watching my videos. If I can try to make sense of them here, because I can't read my writing sometimes. But it was really bad before I started the dyskinesia drug. But so I want to say this is about neuropsychiatric personal injury caused by aripiprazole and lifelong antipsychotic use. This fits the other profile for junior mid-age, but it was 46 when it hit me. And the aripiprazole was mentioned specifically to cause it too, which was the time it was started in my life, 20 years ago. So the doctor I was seeing at the time said, I'd seen him for 20 years before he got on the Abilify, but nobody got the connection because nobody was told. The American Psychiatric Association knew, National Institute of Health, and FDA, I presume. And I haven't actually seen, but it's all over Google Scholar search. Tardive dystonia is the tardive movement disorder. Specifically, there are about 4 of them or 5. Tardive dyskinesia, there's a treatment for, but that's the burning away of the nerves from the fingers, the feet, and the face. And so that's been restored, a subtle change I noticed, but nobody else would. But I feel at the surface of my skin again now, which was amazing in the last year. But the journey I've been on has been amazing. It's just described in my book, in the Grip of Paranoid Schizophrenia, 3rd edition, is how psychotic as I was. And I'm not the same person that you see today, even though I do make a clerical error once in a while in what I say. Anyway, so the first doctor said, just take 600 milligram ibuprofen 3 times a day and you'll be fine. So the second doctor, after he retired, said, she examined my back and said, it's in spasm. She said, this is what she said to me. She said, you need tight muscles, you need flexor, she said. So she started me on that. She wasn't here very long, and somebody replaced her, who was temporary too, and I said to him, I know you're temporary, but at least diagnosed me. There's got to be something wrong with my back, the way it hurt so bad all these years. It's just a searing pain, I'm getting into. So he said one thing to me, these 2 other previous MDs didn't have the sense to say to me. He said, take your shirt off and turn around. So I took my T-shirt off and I turned around. And he said, took one look at my back and said, you got scoliosis. So he ordered an MRI and to rule out any other disease, disorder, or illness with my spine other than scoliosis. And we didn't know then. He said then I should have had it as a kid. And I said, well, I didn't. So, and I named examples in another video, last video, where I didn't, as a young adult and as an adult living here up to in my early 40s, before I got on the Risperidol, the Abilify at 46. I was 36 when I got on the Risperidone that saved my life, because I was in god-awful shape. But it's described in the book. But these notes I'm trying to read, how far is, okay, so I got that part. So I want to say how much I changed, too, in the process of all this journey I've been on. So prior to the treatment for the tardive dyskinesia, September of 2023 began earlier in the month, and so that's like 14 months ago now or something. But on it, I saw what here? Before that, I used to sleep typically. People knew me, friends who've known me, a number like 6 or 7 who died in the last few years. So nobody comes here anymore who used to come here and be a friend, a good best friend. They've all passed away on me. So that's why I'm alone. One reason. But some people aren't welcome here, but there's kind of people who know who they are. Stay away, I guess. But anyway, the point was, before I got on the Estedo for the tardive dyskinesia, my hours of sleep used to average 18 hours of sleep, 16, 20, 14, 12, at the least. But it was average about 18 to 16 to 17, 18 hours of sleep every night. And then my days would be like 28 hours long or 30. This is before the Estedo. Then it put me on waking up at the crack of dawn and going to bed as soon as it got dark. So that was on the extended release. I didn't like that. So we went to the immediate release, and I got a little bit better where I can have a little nighttime now, but I still don't make it very long around the clock, the long hours of sleep. I only sleep like 6.5, 5.5, 6, 7 hours of sleep or 8 if I have to, and I can get up. Or I'll sleep in if I that's the one thing I make somewhere about when I wake up. I usually am pain free when I first wake up, and sometimes I don't even realize I have a painful condition. And I go to step out of bed, and I realize, wait a minute, when I hit my feet hit the floor, it's gonna be a different story. Other days I wake up and become conscious and waking up, and I realize before I move that am I ready to face the fight for the pain for the day yet or not? And I'll go back to sleep if I'm not. So it's a fight with this kind of pain, and so I would describe how my pain has changed from discontinuing the Abilify, which was a few weeks ago now or more. I'm trying to read my right. Pain is worse possibly. Pain is different. It encompasses a larger area of my back because that muscle that was clenching tightly from the Abilify around the spine that pulled it out of place is backed off. But that all hurts in there, man. That's a larger area now that hurts than just that spine being out of place when I walk and stuff, But and I can be fine sitting down like I am now, and I've been up for like what time did I get up today? But I think it was about 7:30 or something this morning. But as I was 11:20 now, old time. The new time is on my watch here. It's a 10:15. But time change night. Why did I do that? That seems so weird to me. I wish they wouldn't change the time. They get dark late in the morning and it's light later. But my personal preference on that one subject, but take on that one. But so the point was I was trying to make too is that before they said the school ages I should have had my childhood, and I named ways I didn't have it, and I was about to say one way, and then I got veered off in my own just non-using of notes, which I'm breaking the habit of that now, but or trying to, but I used to carry 2 laundry bags, a laundry bag over each shoulder, up out the door here and there, and then out down the steps, sidewalk down the steps, and up the sidewalk, up the hill to the male laundry room, and wash my laundry. I used to not have a problem carrying 2 loads of bags up there if I had the 2 loads, and putting them back out, changing them, and getting them back down here, and shaking them out on the bed, and folding them all up, and so that's the way I did it. All the stuff the aid does for me, I did myself at one time, all along living here. Be 40 years in next month. That's the next month already. It'll be 40 years I've been here. First moved in here, but so a lot of different incarnations of the place and to myself. I feel every 10 years you're a different person than who you were 10 years ago because you learn. If you're learning and growing as a person, you're a different person than you were every 10 years. That's the way I look at life. But time travel and evolution, personal evolution, spiritual, psychological, whatever you want to call it. But so, anyways, well, yeah, I do for myself. I used to always do for myself what the aid does. Particular, for example, something. I don't know. So I've done everything I can do to help with the pain. I bought gel pads for the chair. I've got lumbar pillow for this chair. Another lumbar pillow that wasn't helping in that chair, just making it worse, I think. But so I got another gel pad on the hard chair where I sit to eat. Gel pads, So I've done everything I can do, I was going to say about the aid program too that. To be in the aid program, you have to be, over the age of 60 or older and have a disability. and to be in the passport aid program in Ohio. They call it the Agency on Aging. But you have to accept help with a shower, or they'll throw you out of the program. They told me that up front, which so I didn't know that. I didn't know that, like most people don't, and so I said, well, let me think about that, and I thought about it. I said, well, I really, with my back curvature goes, I can't wash my whole back like I used to be able to reach around. I have a yoga adept for like 20 years, from age 16 to 36. When they put me on the risperidone, I just stopped doing all that weird advanced yoga. For some reason, it didn't agree with me anymore. But so that's a movement change too. But yoga was really advanced. I had no photographs. There were no phones in those days with pictures everywhere. Like there, I wish there was. I could do some advanced stuff. But but anyways, so where was I going with that? So I told them I can't wash my whole back, and they said, well, that counts, So that part of the deal was at the end, and then and it's no frill for me. It never has been with these aides. It's not about that. They're not girlfriends. They're home health aides, assistants to help. She does things that I can't do with my own back anymore. Or like to move this two-drawer file cabinet out to get to behind the stereo rack to plug things in, and she knows I tell her what to plug where, and she knows how to do it. This one's very mechanically oriented, electromechanically. Great piece, thank you, Ohio. So anyways, what else am I living with here? Because this is the reason I won't take a shower without anybody in the house anymore. Because at first they gave me, I started off with no shower stool or nothing, but I was having to sit down in the tub before I could get out. My back was in shape to get out. I had to rest for a while. So they got me a shower stool, the case manager for the passport aid program. And but the problem was, I had that for a long time, and then the problem was one time I didn't rinse enough soap off my rear end, and I sat on it and skidded right off of it, but back behind it and fell. The aid was hard of hearing, so I didn't report it for 2 weeks because I didn't want to deal with it for 2 weeks. I didn't get hurt. I knew I didn't get hurt, so I got myself up. And so nothing was, but I reported it. So then she said she'd give me a non-skid shower chair then, but it had to be a small one to fit inside the tub because it's a small bathroom, and that's was the one to come outside the tub. So I got one of those, but you still got to watch how much soap you got on it when you sit on it. It was skid. And I fell back on it because it was moved a little forward. It seemed a little bit. I judged where it was moved when aid cleaned. I don't know, but I fell back on it, and I caught myself. I didn't report it as a fall because it was a slip. She reported it as because she was sitting in earshot, and I called for her because I felt back when I went to sit on it. The center of gravity was too far back, and it tilted back on its legs, but didn't skid. So I stopped myself on the side of the shower stall and on the rigid rim of the tub, rim at the top of the edge of the tub, and my foot caught the spigot, and I was balanced on that chair on 2 legs, balanced there like that, So I would have had to drop something in order to get myself out of there and fall all the way. So she just pushed me up by my back, and I got up, and I was all right. So these are mobility issues that I have, because this freaking damn Abilify drug that did this to me, add to the other ones in the overall picture of the profiles that fit for these kind of disorders. Scoliosis is only 1 to 3% of people or whatever who use antipsychotics. But it's different statistics. You can read a zillion things on it, Google Scholar search. If you can find Google Scholar search, if you search for Google Scholar search and then type in the Google Scholar search scoliosis and antipsychotic drugs and see what you find. But when I wake up, I either am out of pain or forget about it entirely, so I got to get out of bed, or I realize I'm going to fight. Am I up for the fight or not? I don't get out of bed. But it's not depression. It's just like I'm not ready to fight yet, but that's pain. 18 hours of sleep. Down to 6.5, 5 hours, 8 hours of sleep. Yeah, like normal now. I want this is the last note. It looks like I have here is if I was the next person and discovered all this about myself and my own health and history of taking these kind of from a medication, I'd be irate as hell, totally infuriated to find all this out, and I'm not being that way. I'm being calm and placid about it, but I do expect to look into this further and find out I want justice to prevail here, and I feel I deserve some compensation for the pain I get in some days, like the last video where I put me to bed last night. I just had to shut everything off and go right to bed. The pain was just too screaming, and so it's just good days and bad days, better days. And on a good day like I had today all day, I did nothing but watch YouTube. I just felt pain free, so I just wanted to sit there pain free and move around. When I get on my feet, it's a different story entirely, though. Too, I have to shuffle around the apartment on my shoes. My feet barefoot is better sometimes, but then after a while that hurts, and I put these house shoes on, and then I can walk around on them, but after a while, but still the lower back above the pelvic bone they call it, I guess, but where the spine comes out and turns there from the scoliotic curvature, that area hurts, and it's going to cause me pain, and it's caused me so much grief and pain. And people who know me or died, still living, I guess I should say, are numbering fewer than the one who all knew I had it all along anyway, who are gone, but who used to come here, and now nobody does. So nobody sees it but my aide, and notices the changes in me, and she knows what I can do and what I can't do. And it's been well documented, but now the fact is to connect it to the scoliosis, to the Abilify, to the aripiprazole, and there's a correlation there with profiles I've hit too. So talk to me if you want to. Ask questions in the comments if you want to. I'll answer what you want, or you can reach me anyhow. Anyway, you can reach me.